All cats old enough to catch their own prey gather here beneath the podcast for a clan meeting. Welcome to Paws and Clause, a podcast where we read the Warrior Cats books in chronological order. I'm Scout, joined by my co-host and park enjoyer Jill, and today we will be discussing The Power of Three, Book 2, Dark River. Jill, how was the park?
The park was pretty good. I caught 3 shiny Beldum.
Wow.
For Pokemon Go. Unfortunately, so part of the reason we were like, oh, we should definitely go to the park, is Eric really wanted, because they have there's shadow raids. I don't know if you're familiar with the concept of shadow Pokemon from...
I played a little bit of Pokemon Go by the time they had shadow Pokemon, so I'm kind of aware of them.
Oh, well, I mean, I think it's originally from, Coliseum? Something like that?
Oh, oh, it's like that one. It's like,
yeah.
I don't think it was Coliseum. It was like an RPG. I mean, they're all RPGs, but it was like a weird RPG on GameCube, I want to say, where your starter was an Eevee that turned into either an Umbreon or an Espeon.
There is... I don't remember what...
It was also in Pokemon Coliseum. Snagging and restoring them to normal by purifying them is the main goal of Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness.
That's what it was called. Yes. So it is very much like that because it is Team Rocket corrupting these Pokemon. But the unfortunate thing about Shadow Raids is you can't use a remote pass. So they have these remote raid passes so you can my friends who live in Indiana can invite us to a raid, and we can do the raid with them remotely. Mm-hmm. They do not let you do remote raids with shadow raids, so right. Eric was like, we have to be at the park in order for him to get Shadow Lugia. Unfortunately, no raids spawned. No. So we did not manage to get a Shadow Lugia.
That's so sad.
But the park was okay. I did not do much walking because it was hot and I had forgotten my inhaler and my fan. So I was I'm just gonna sit in the...
That's at hard mode. That's park on that's park on hard mode.
That is park. Luckily, it was only 85 today, but I just sat in the gazebo and did my Pokemon and read Warriors, and it was pretty good.
Hell yeah. That's the way, Sometimes it's nice to just sit in the park, read a Warrior Cats book.
I was sweating profusely, unfortunately.
That's too bad. That's the worst.
Because I was very much... At one point, I was like, why is my shirt wet? And I look down, and it's just, I'm drenched.
Ugh.
And I'm like, cool, love that. But yeah, other than that, park was nice. How was your afternoon?
My afternoon was good. I've also spent a good chunk of my day reading, even though I had only about a third of the book left to go, but I am simply so much slower than you. I'm a perfectly fast reader, I think, by general standards, but I'm going up against you, which is going up against, the shonen master, and I'm merely the apprentice when it comes to reading speed.
Yeah.
So I was doing that. I've been doing, speaking of ambience when it comes to reading, I was reading this one while listening to a bunch of forest synth, which is basically I just typed forest synth into YouTube and it came up with playlist of dungeon synth that is kind of foresty. And I was like, yeah, this is it. This is the vibe.
Mm-hmm. I love that. It really is the vibe for this book.
Yeah, we go underground. We go into, it's basically a dungeon.
It is. It's
we go
so
into
cool.
We go into the fucking mines where the children crave the mines.
The children crave the mines. Well, and you know what? In this book, they do.
They do. It's true. I also did send you a picture going back to Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness real quick. Why is this guy's name Michael?
Oh, that's his name?
That's his name. His name is Michael.
Oh, okay.
That's the protagonist, I think, of this game. This looks like, what if you took Sora from the Steamboat Willie world in Kingdom Hearts 2 and then put him back and colorized him and then kind of put him in through Tron as well?
Yeah.
And then gave him the Axel color palette.
Yeah.
That's what this kid looks like, but his name is Michael.
His name is just Michael.
It's just so funny to me.
Oh, fuck. Sorry, I just was closing out Twitter. However, the first thing that I just saw was and this is something I noticed every time we go onto the Warriors wiki and check timelines. Mm-hmm. Somebody said, "I love how Firestar is the Jesus of warrior cats," because it's got the method they use on the wiki where it's YBA years before ancient era of dawn of the clans, YBF years before Firestar, and then years following Firestar. It's so funny. I mean, like, I get why, but also it's so funny.
He really is he is our Jesus.
Oh man. Well, let's say we talk about how the prey's running.
How is the prey running?
Prey's running pretty good.
We talked about you made burgers.
Yeah, well, I kind of fucked up the burgers a little bit. They were a little bit more rare than either of us would have cared for. It's so hard to, like, properly make a burger in an apartment.
It is. It's
like,
a lot of...
You really need a grill.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it was pouring down rain, and also we don't have one. So...
Sometimes,
okay.
Sometimes that's the way. If it wasn't for the rain and the fact that you don't have one, you wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure there is a grill down at the pool.
Oh, communal grill.
Mm-hmm.
I like
but
that.
But also I'm not confident enough with the grill yet to just go down there and casually.
Yeah, my dad has, like, a really nice grill, and I'm sure that he tells me it's perfectly easy to use. It's like a gas grill, so it's not like I have to deal with coals or anything. Have. But even so, I'm like, I'm not touching that thing. I don't know, I'm scared. I'm scared. I'll do many things. There's 2 appliances I'm afraid of: that grill and our toaster.
You're afraid of your toaster?
Have I told you about our toaster?
No.
Our toaster is a vintage toaster. It's like I would say like a 40s, maybe 50s toaster.
Okay.
It doesn't have a little, like, toaster push-down tab. It automatically eats your toast and then will automatically bring it back up for you when you set it in. It has, like, a mechanism. The temperature, that's the first scary point, is that it does that automatically. Second scary point is that it doesn't regulate the temperature very properly. Like, I have to have it on the lowest setting and then put my toast in, like, 3 times while rotating it instead of just putting it in 1 time a little bit higher, because if I put it up any higher, it burns the toast, and I don't know why, and I can't make it stop.
She's a fickle mistress, your toaster.
Uh-huh. Third point, the outside of it gets so hot that you can burn yourself on it. And so then I try and... It gets so hot on the outside, Jill!
Why do you guys own this?
Because my mom loves vintage appliances.
Oh.
She never uses the toaster. That's not true. Occasionally she makes occasionally she does make toast. I shouldn't drag her like this. But mostly Dad uses the toaster, and he seems to be okay with it, but I'm scared of it every time. It gets so hot on the outside.
I don't blame you. If my toaster got so hot, I would not want to use it.
It's dangerous.
It's dangerous.
That's what it's like in my house.
Speaking of toasters, though, I've been back in my bagel era.
Hell yeah. I had bagel for lunch.
Oh, I love bagels. I ordered like a dozen bagels, and we stick them in the freezer so that, you just defrost them real quick.
Mm-hmm. That's the way.
And I've basically been having that for breakfast all day, or all week. Yeah. So it's been really, I love a good sesame bagel. It's toasted good. With some cream cheese. Oof.
Today I had an open face sandwich on a sesame bagel, toasted sesame bagel. Put some butter lettuce on there and some leftover. I made for dinner last night, like a chickpea salad, kind of like, imagine like an egg salad, but instead of eggs, it's got chickpeas. So it's
that
kind
sounds
of
really
like
good.
A little bit creamy, a little bit hummusy. It had some caramelized onions that I made mixed into it, and then you put in like some lemon and salt and pepper with some sour cream and mayonnaise. It was really good.
See, I don't like egg salad, but I feel like chickpea salad.
I'm the same way. I'm very, like, I'm back and forth on like a creamy, like a one of them creamy one of them creamy American things that we call salads. I like a pasta salad, but I really prefer like an oil and vinegar salad over a creamy pasta salad. But like I'm okay with a really nice creamy pasta salad.
I agree.
I'm also not big on egg salad, though I do like deviled eggs, which is basically the same thing but deconstructed. So I don't know why that is. There's something about the texture that is different.
I just don't like hard-boiled eggs or soft-boiled eggs in general.
That's fair.
Egg salad has never been my jam. I fucking love a good chicken salad.
Mm-hmm. Chicken salad's great. Chicken salad all time.
And yes, of course, we went to the chicken salad place when you came for the wedding. We met my parents at the chicken salad restaurant.
The joy I felt when I realized there was an entire restaurant devoted to chicken salad.
And it's good chicken salad.
It was good chicken salad. I was so excited. I was like, you're telling me it's all chicken salad all the way down?
Yeah. But yeah, no, I agree on the pasta salad thing. I much prefer one with like a vinaigrette to like a creamy pasta salad. I just think the vinaigrette one's like, here's the thing. I'm also like a huge fan of vinegar.
Vinegar good.
I just really love vinegar.
I
don't know why. It's so good. I think I mentioned last week that I was forbidden juice. Yeah. I think I mentioned last week I was making that cowboy caviar.
Yes.
I did end up making it. It did not quite taste the way that my parents made it because I didn't have their exact recipe.
The mystery.
But it was still really good.
Hell yeah.
And that's like super vinegary too. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. That's why I also love a bean salad, which I haven't seen any more bean salad TikToks to send you since last week.
I'm so sorry.
I gotta find more bean salads TikToks to send you.
Yeah, especially because we found out, unfortunately, there is a salmonella outbreak on cucumber. I was gonna make cucumber salad this week, but there is unfortunately an outbreak, and I'm like, I don't care if it's still on sale. I'm not chancing it.
Yeah, I hope that cucumber guy's okay.
I do too. Stay safe out there, Logan.
Stay safe out there, Logan, the cucumber guy.
And I did also, unfortunately, inflict more food psychic damage on Scout this week. So it's, I just need to not be given access to food crimes on TikTok, I think.
I mean, I do appreciate being, like, aware of food crimes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I feel like, I gotta stay on my toes. I get too comfortable in a place where I'm like, people do normal things with food. So I gotta have a little food crime, like, as like a reverse treat to remind me, watch out.
Watch out, people are making some fucking decisions.
People are doing some things with food.
Yeah, they sure are.
Food segue. We got this image of J-Paw. Tell me about this image.
So, I mean, I just found this image while I was, searching for stuff on Tumblr, but we're back with the woodcut style walleye J-Paw.
Mm-hmm.
However, this time he has his stick, which we will discuss in great detail today.
Don't worry, we're gonna hear about the stick.
Yeah, the stick is very important. Every time I am talking about the stick, please ensure that you are imagining a capital S at the start of that, because I am always making it a proper
It is a
noun.
proper noun. We have to refer to it by its proper title, the stick.
But I put this in there, and then Scout commented, why does it look like a motherfucking daikon radish? And it does!
It is such a shape. It's much more, I would call this more of a branch than a stick, which is very, like, arbitrary, but there is something more branch-like than stick-like here to me. And also, it looks like the scratches in it look like big grill marks, like somebody was turning it on the grill.
Yeah.
It looks like a big old grilled daikon radish.
Yeah.
Really nice texturing, though. Like always A+ on the texturing of the inks there.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm sorry to bring up the Polish covers once again, but damn, do they just really hard. Look at this thing. This thing rules.
It's so fucking majestic.
Yeah, this is the most majestic Lion Paw has ever looked, I think.
He's got that big Maine Coon look.
Mm-hmm. Which is perfect for him because he's always, like, described as sort of having a mane, a lot like Lionheart. So it's got him there, and like this, there's sort of sunlight coming down on his portrait. This is another one with like a big portrait, and then below it is like a small image of some cats that are silhouetted. This is, of course, Lion Paw and Heather Paw, who we will be talking about a lot in this one. And the backdrop here are the spooky caves.
Hell
so cool here. I love this color palette with like these dark, warm yellow browns, and then the cool teals for like the water, the underground river. It's so sick. It's really good.
I love the atmosphere of it.
Mm-hmm. It's such good
I was
atmosphere.
gonna make a comment on the English cover, but I don't actually remember what it looks like. Because the copy that I bought at the used bookstore did not have the dust jacket on it anymore. So I need to actually go and look at what it looks like again.
It's got Heather Paw on it.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah. It's pretty
Yeah. Okay. It's okay.
It's fine, but it doesn't quite have, it feels a little bit more
It
like
doesn't feel as spooky.
It feels a little more like you're in a rusty pipe than you're in like a
spooky caves.
Which is also
I will say
vibe.
the reprint does kind of give that spooky cave energy.
Yeah, I think this is definitely one of the better reprint covers. We've been pretty harsh on the reprint covers in the past. I think that this arc and I don't remember what the Omen of the Stars covers look like. I think they're pretty okay too, but the one after that, Vision of Shadows, I think has some pretty solid reprint covers. Which I suppose that wasn't reprint covers at that point. That was just the original covers. But yeah, I think this one's pretty good. Kind of looks a little bit like eldritch mushrooms in the background.
It does, yeah.
And Lion Paw just like sniffing. There's nice ripples in the water. There's a lot of great atmosphere to play with in this book, I think, for covers.
I agree.
Speaking of
I'm looking at covers.
Yeah, are there any other ones that you want to highlight?
I mean, for this arc, I think Eclipse I've always loved the original cover for Eclipse, but I gotta say, the reprint cover for Eclipse goes so hard in such a menacing direction. I love it.
Yeah, it does have a really good, solid energy.
Yeah, so I think either one of those is very good. I'm a little less of a fan of the other ones, but I think for sure they are that's some good ones.
These Chinese page art images that are at the top of the warriorsofficialart.tumblr.com page reminded me that I think that these are what there's like Chinese vending machine Warrior Cats ice cream going around right now. A couple folks.
Oh my god, yes, I've seen that.
And I think we had somebody post it in the Discord. I want it so bad.
I want the Warriors ice cream.
I want the Warriors ice cream. And I believe that the art on the paper for the ice cream is from these illustrations.
Oh, that's so cool.
From these Chinese prints. So they must be pretty new. They must be like a new thing.
Man, if anyone can find a way to get me the Warriors ice cream.
Look at this picture of Black and Paw. Look at him. He's hunting. He's so strong.
Oh, he's so little.
He's so little.
Oh my god, that's so cute.
He's got a little tuft of hair. I love him.
Oh, that's adorable.
That's such a good image.
I want that as a sticker.
Yeah, that'd be such a good sticker. All right. Should I paint us a word picture? Are we ready?
Please do.
The prologue follows Fallen Leaves, ancient ancestor of the cats, as he readies for a coming-of-age ordeal. Entering a tunnel beneath what will one day be WindClan's lake territory, he meets a decrepit cat named Rock, who carries a sacred stick, etched with a record of every cat who meets him in these caves. Anxious to prove himself, Fallen Leaves begins his trial, but the threat of rain looms darker than the lightless tunnels he navigates. In the lake's current day, our destined siblings prepare for their first gathering attended as a trio. Despite the success of the daylight gathering, tensions still run high between the clans. Lionpaw is less concerned about that, however, and more concerned with Heatherpaw. Before heading home, the two conspire to plan regular playdates on their border. After they're discovered by Hollypaw a few nights later, they're forced to find a new meeting place. Heatherpaw uncovers the perfect spot: previously unknown tunnels that connect their territories underground. During an apprentice assessment, Cinderpaw falls from the sky oak and breaks her leg. Despite the apprentice's optimistic prognosis, J-Paw notices Leafpool's mind is swirling with guilt and desperation over the accident. Curiosity getting the better of him, he walks in Cinderpaw's dreams to investigate. In sleep, she visits the old ThunderClan camp in the Forest Territories and reminisces about cats that died before she was born. However, when awake, she has no idea of her past life as Cinderpelt. Leafpool, while grateful to have her own suspicions confirmed, is determined not to reveal anything to the reincarnated apprentice. She wishes only to heal her leg and keep history from repeating itself. Lionpaw, meanwhile, sneaks out every night to visit Heatherpaw, where they call themselves Dark Clan and play beside the underground river. This leaves him exhausted during his apprentice training, but he finds himself getting pointers from an unlikely source: the specters of Tigerclaw and Hawkfrost, who whisper advanced battle moves in his ear. Certainly, this won't be a problem that will come back to haunt us later. While brooding beside the lake, J-Paw discovers the stick from the prologue. When he touches it, the spirits of long ago whisper greetings. One night, he falls asleep beside it and dreams of running beneath the moor with fallen leaves, becoming utterly lost as the previously threatened downpour completely floods the tunnels. In the dream, J-Paw drowns beside the ancient cat, and in reality, he wakes up alone. At the next gathering, RiverClan reveals extenuating circumstances has led them to shelter on the island. They do not elaborate on the situation, but promise to be back in their territory within a moon. This reassurance does little to dissuade the other clans from fear of border theft, and tensions rise as ThunderClan prepares for attacks from WindClan, who, in turn, prepare for attacks from RiverClan. Believing these hostilities are based on nothing but conjecture, Hollypaw sneaks off to investigate on her own. She discovers the clan is dealing with a significant but temporary human incursion. However, before she can return home, she is caught and held hostage for a few days under suspicion of espionage. The apprentice is allowed to leave RiverClan only after swearing herself to secrecy about the details of their problems. Still, she tries her best to dissuade Firestar from battle preparations on her word alone. De-escalation seems to be working, until news of 3 missing WindClan kits throws everything into chaos. Lionpaw is certain the kits must have found the way into the tunnels, and brings his 2 siblings with him on a rescue mission. They find Heatherpaw had the same thought, the prickly Breezepaw tagging along to help. The tunnels are inscrutable, and the rain outside has washed away the scent trail. But the ghost of fallen leaves appears to J-Paw and guides them safely to the kits. When the pouring rain causes collapses that block their normal exits, the apprentices are forced to launch a daring flume ride out of the caverns, tumbling through the river and safely into the shallows of the lake. With the kits saved, peace returns. Lionpaw says goodbye to Heatherpaw for good, knowing he cannot properly focus on his apprenticeship while they continue to meet. In the darkness beside him, Tigerstar and Hawkfrost commend his decision.
So, Dark River, baby. Overall thoughts?
Overall thoughts? I felt the beginning of this book drag a little bit, except the Cinderpaw stuff. But like everything surrounding the Cinderpaw stuff, I was like, I don't know, this is like not really doing anything for me. However, the last like 3 chapters really like bring it up the rungs of the ladder, because the last 3 chapters are really good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one, actually. I think for all I was complaining last book about, like, we don't really get any Lion Paw to, like, understand what he's like, I feel like this book does a really good job spending equal time with each of the 3 and, like, really defining them as characters.
Yeah, I think my trouble here is that I feel like Lion Paw and Holly Paw especially feel a lot more, well, Lion Paw already felt thinly drawn. Holly Paw feels more thinly drawn this time than in the previous book, because she no longer has sort of her crisis of identity at the moment, and so it's more just about like being the most into the code that she can be. And she does have some interesting points where she is sort of defying that instinct that I think are good. But there's a lot, and I think that part of this also has to do with some issues that I had with just like reiteration of points or things that we could infer in the writing in this book that felt more noticeably like over-explainy to me in this one when it came to Holly Paw and Lion Paw having problems and being like, oh, but what about this problem that I just thought about 2 pages ago? Do you think that still applies here? I think it does.
Yeah.
But I don't want to shit on them entirely. I do think there's really good moments, and I do think that it's overall a fun read. And I agree that the trio do get a really nice equal like spread of chapters.
Yeah, which I appreciate. Oh man, I agree. That last like section of this book is just crazy good.
It's so good. I was like pumping my fists. I was like sad.
Yeah.
This guy fucking flips him. I've lost the ability to say words. I'm just doing roller coaster motions with my hands.
Yeah. It's really good. No, I think the end of this with the like escape from the tunnels and the like looming battles and it being just like the fact that this storm, like, it has been rainy through the entire book. And then it just, like,
it builds up.
Reaches its climax in this section. Oh, so good.
Even in that, like, in the, like, obviously we hear about the storm in the past, like, later before the storm in the present really pops off. But when we're in the prologue, we have sort of, like, it smells like rain. Well, but it doesn't look like rain, but it really smells like rain. I bet it's going to rain. So even that is kind of, like, a thing that ends up tying into the way that the weather becomes part of this story across the whole book. In a really fun way.
I 100% agree. And I think there's a lot of environment work being done in this book.
Yeah, I agree. That's really solid.
Yeah, because we have the lake, we have the tunnels, we have the way that they're like preparing the camp for battle. We have the gathering island.
We have even the Sky Oak.
Yeah, it just feels very like
And the like the border, the Wind Clan, Thunder Clan border.
It feels very tied to the lake as a territory. Like it feels like the previous one is like, okay, yeah, this could have been set in any, like it could have been set in the lake or the forest, and it still would have been like the same. But this one like very much feels like significant to this area.
Yeah, it feels really like entrenched in the area, which makes sense with like ties in again with the whole introduction of the ancient cats here and sort of learning about them more explicitly in some of their culture and stuff. I kind of wish I did end up really enjoying Dawn of the Clans when we read it, but I still kind of wish that we had seen more of like this generation of the ancient cats.
Me too. Maybe they will one day.
Maybe they'll go back to it, because we really end up in Dawn of the Clans coming in after stuff that we're gonna get in the next book, I'm pretty sure.
In the next book or 2, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember if it all resolves in just the one, but yeah. Because this seems so interesting. It feels like they kind of... When was Tall Star's Revenge written? Was it before this? No, it was after this. This was 2007. Tall Star's Revenge was 2013. I didn't realize Tall Star's Revenge was all the way in the 2010s. So I was going to say it feels like they're sort of drawing on the tunnel stuff in that, but now I think they actually drew on the tunnel stuff from this when doing Tall Star's Revenge. Because there was a lot of tunnel drama in that one too. Anyways, I would love to see more of their whole deal.
I would too. And I did look it up. I believe Long Shadows
is where like that storyline kind of wraps.
No, actually, it wraps in Omen of the Stars.
Oh man!
So there's apparently some more in Omen of the Stars, but the stuff that we remember is in Long Shadows.
Right. Well, I have read Omen of the Stars. I must just be getting all of it squooshed together in my brain.
Yeah, that's very fair. Yeah. Fallen Leaves, love that guy. I don't remember.
I love him.
I don't remember so much about him except for like this part, but goddamn, I love that character. I love the way that he like comes to J-Paw.
I will walk with you as you once walked with me. Goes. That's so good.
And the way he's like, you walked with me as a brother. Like,
as a brother.
Damn, that's so fucking hard.
That
love it so much.
Oh, it's so good. And just like the vision of this cat, like who could not escape these tunnels, now trapped for, moons upon moons upon moons, learning these tunnels, the way he's like, I know every pace of them now.
Mm-hmm.
I know everything about them now because I have been here so long. And the part where he's like, it is not my time to leave, that also goes so hard. What a good ghost. What a good ghost Fallen Leaves is.
He's great. I know we get to see more of him and I can't wait.
Yeah,
he's my man's.
I haven't read the novella where I know he plays a significant
Me either.
Role. So I'm excited to see
I'm very excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
I love him. Speaking of cats I love, I really enjoy J-Paw in this one.
Me too.
Man.
This is where I am like, this is where we get to like the J-Paw vibes that I really like, where he's like a little shit he's just so grumpy. He doesn't want anybody to be dealing with him. He doesn't want to have to explain himself to anybody. And I suppose that's not all that different from how he was in the first one, but there is a significant like
change to it.
Yes, it feels less like in the previous one he would be like, I'm not trying to prove myself, but he absolutely was. And in this one I feel more like he is in the I don't need to prove myself to anyone era.
He is. And I think he explicitly says that.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I don't like it when people treat me like I don't know what I'm doing. Like, that's the only issue I have with being blind is like...
That conversation with Cinderpaw is really good.
It's a really good one. But I also love, like, how much he's using his fucking cat ESP to try and figure out everybody's secrets. Like, that's... And I don't think I mentioned this as, like, part of the reason I really enjoyed it in the previous episode, but like I just like the fact that he's not a character who's gonna take no for an answer when it comes to giving us lore.
That's true. He really is. I give like this trio a lot of shit for not really paying attention to what's going on in the background, but honestly, J-Paw,
he's doing his best.
You are really doing your best. You are rolling those perception checks. You are rolling those investigation checks, my man.
He is constantly like...
He is rolling insight.
He is, and especially with Leafpool, he's constantly like, what the fuck is up with her?
What is going on? Why is she acting like this?
And Leafpool acts some kind of way in this book. She's a little rough.
She's having a tough time. She's got some moments where I'm like, are you for real though?
Yeah. Like her getting so upset with J-Paw for like, he is doing his best to help Cinderpaw. And she's like, no, you have to make sure that she's okay. And he's like, girl, I'm doing what I can. Like, and then even after that, when he's like, hey, so I did find out she's actually Cinderpelt, and like, she's gonna be fine. like, even then, she's still like, okay, well, we have to make sure it heals properly. He's like, it's gonna be okay. But she is just not having it.
She doesn't want to be the one that's responsible for, like, an entire reincarnation going to hell, you know? Like, or
exactly.
in her eyes. Like, so yeah, I mean, I can both completely empathize with what she is, what, like, the behavior that she's doing, and, like, she's out of pocket.
Yeah, she's a little out of pocket.
She's a little out of pocket. There's that one time when he's like, you know, he says something about, like, you only care about caring about cats who you can fix or something. And that, like, was oof. That was an oof moment.
Yeah. And the way she's constantly like, she's always like, you know, she's trying to get him to use his powers for things that she wants him to use them for. And I'm like, ooh, girl, calm down a little bit. She's like, I need you to go into their dreams. And he's like, I'm not tired. And she's like, you need to do it now. And he's like, I can't just fall asleep on the spot.
And that, I think, is a moment that's like, I mean, I think there's a lot of really strong Leafpool is mom flags in this book, even to the point where I think it's Holly Paw at one point is like, she's acting like she's my mom. And I'm like, exactly. Oh, she's acting like she's your mom, huh? AJ, can you put the Vine Boom in there?
Yeah.
Can you put the Vine Boom in there again, please, AJ? Yeah. And I think that comes out here in really touching and really, like, hard to see ways. You know, like, there's moments in here where it's like, that's the you're my child and you're gonna do what I say kind of mom energy.
Yep.
Which
definitely.
is rough to see. I think Leafpool's in her messy era.
She is.
And I kind of like it. Like, there's some parts in here that I'm like, she should not be saying that. She needs to be a little bit more chill, but I'm kind of here for messy Leafpool. I'm realizing that I really like Messy X's era of Leafpool and Crowfeather, and I agree. I'm assuming this is part of the reason that I was like, I don't mind it, like, all that much. When we were talking about it previously, I had just sort of forgotten that this stuff.
Yeah,
where this is the shit where she's like in camp and Crowfeather comes over and J-Paw is next to her and he's like, why does she suddenly feel so many emotions? And why is fucking Nightcloud back there feeling extremely jealous? What's going on?
Well, and I think it cracked me up, too, because she's, like, sassing Crowfeather, and when J-Paw tries to, like, bring some logic to the discussion with One Star, she's like, don't sass the other clan's leader, and I'm like, girl.
And then she also, like, immediately sasses One Star, too.
Oh, I love it. I definitely agree that the X's era for them is so good. Very much like, I think I've mentioned this before. I don't remember what ship it was for, but like, I ship them as divorced. Where it's like, I do not want to see these two in a relationship together. I want to see the absolute fallout of their messy breakup.
Blue Star and Oakheart.
Ooh, that may have been it.
I think that might have been it. But that is, they
weren't as messy, though.
No, not this messy, that's for sure.
Yeah, this is maybe one of the messiest. Well, no. There's perhaps one messier breakup that we still have yet to discuss.
I've remembered the messier breakup. I had briefly blocked it out.
It's coming.
We get some weird Ashfur behavior in this one.
Yeah. A little bit of an Ashfur watch.
Not the weirdest.
No, definitely not the weirdest he's been, but
not the weirdest he's been.
He's a little aggressive.
There's just a weird energy to whatever he is doing with teaching Lion Paw. I can't figure out the vibe because it feels
just
like
kind of like low-key unnerving.
Yeah, because it feels like he both knows that Lion Paw is sneaking out to be with Heatherpaw, but isn't really addressing it, and instead is just being like, "Why? Stop being so fucking tired." But then at the end, he's also still like, "I'm glad to see that you have more energy," and he says it in a way that feels like he's hinting at, "What is that about? What's up with that energy?
Yeah, and I think that's part of the thing too about like this being like us seeing the family, like the adult drama from the outside.
Yes!
With characters who aren't J-Paw. It's like Lion Paw's not gonna question that shit. If he was J-Paw's mentor, J-Paw would be like alarm bells all the time. Kill Bill sirens every day. Kill Bill
sirens every fucking day. Just thinking about the rest of this series. This is kind of petty behavior related. I kind of like a petty Firestar moment here.
Ooh, yeah, me too.
You know, we get that moment where Firestar is like, if RiverClan needs help, they can come ask for our help. I'm not gonna go help RiverClan and then have people come at my ass because I tried to help and say I'm trying to do some other thing. Like, yeah, Firestar, I get it, man. Take the low road.
Yeah. Do it.
You deserve it every once in a while.
I 100% agree.
It felt very much like you have that like connection with somebody where it's like they keep doing the same thing and then complaining about it, and I keep saying the same thing to them and they keep brushing me off about it, so maybe we just leave it this time.
Right.
I don't want to go down this road again.
Right.
That was the feeling I got from that, which I liked a lot in the first half.
Yeah.
In the second half, I think him and Leafpool didn't handle Hollypaw. I don't think any of them handled Hollypaw as like generously as I feel like they should, considering that all of them, including Squirrel Flight, did shit exactly like what Hollypaw was doing in this book.
I know. They're such hypocrites, but like that's how adults be.
Yeah.
It's like you get in trouble for the same shit they pulled when they were a kid. So, yeah. I mean, as much as it sucks, like that's kind of realistic.
It is. That's how parents. That's parenting. That's what parenting is sometimes.
That's adults too, like just adulthood in general,
adults,
like talking about like there's all the times that
do as I say, adults, not as I do shit.
Exactly. Adults on the internet are like, "Hey, kids, don't do what I did." And they're like, "Well, you did it." It's like, "Yeah, but I'm telling you not to cuz like it was a mistake." Wah, wah, wah.
I don't know if Hollypaw's whole thing was really a mistake. Like
I don't think it was.
In the end, it did kind of end up like if the kids hadn't gone missing, I think that she would have totally de-escalated that situation. Or you know,
agree.
her interference would have just de-escalated that situation. Obviously, she wasn't doing it single-handedly. Now, do I still think that she should have maybe tried to? I don't know. No, I think I support Hollypaw's behavior here. It feels very much like shit Fireheart did at this like same time.
Oh, very much so.
Like literally in some case. Like I think I have a note here.
Yeah, especially where they were like, "Hey, we're gonna go feed RiverClan without telling anyone."
Yeah, I have a note somewhere that's like, Hollypaw's going to visit RiverClan just like Gramps back in the day.
Yeah.
Hollypaw's RiverClan adventure just like her grandpa. But I also do think it's very Firestar especially is quite a ways far away from like that young cat energy that he had, and I do think that you know, as you get further from that, and he's seen a lot of stuff, like he's seen, you know, I think that One Star's heel turn really like affected Firestar.
I agree.
Thinking about it like in the context of what's been happening with Firestar's reaction to stuff in this arc versus the previous arc, I think
losing that friend definitely seemed to like affect the way that he does things,
and feeling like suddenly all of the stuff that he had done was suddenly being misconstrued as something else.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Which I think is really interesting.
Well, and I think it's crazy too how everyone's like, you can't accept kitty pets into the clan when like, I'm sorry, Firestar has literally saved y'all's asses 10 times over, and he is clearly accepted by StarClan, so why are we saying like a kitty pet can't join the clan if they are like willing to put forth the effort?
I don't know, man.
It's such a boring argument now.
I'm so over it. I'm so Joverite.
I'm so
So many cats, like, there's a lot of the same sort of, like, you've talked about before, where it's like, when we got to the lake, all the cats were like, borders aren't going to be, like, as big of a thing. You know, we're not going to be so, like, intense about our borders here because we all have enough room and we all have, like, plenty of space and everything. And it's just so quick, which is what, like, that's the kind of thing that happens. But everybody is just so deep in the border shit.
There's so much raring for a fight.
Yeah, Dustpelt does not come off looking good in this book.
Ooh, no, he does not.
This is a rough one for Dustpelt. This is a big L for Dustpelt for me.
It's okay, bud. We still like you.
Okay, Grandpa, let's get you to bed.
Come on, Peepaw.
Big W for Mousefur, though.
Oh, yeah.
The scene where Mousefur is like, maybe I'll talk to Firestar.
I'll talk to Firestar.
Maybe
yeah, I liked that a lot.
I liked that a lot.
Oh, man. Do we want to talk about Cinderpaw?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so happy about this.
I have two stupid notes that I'm just going to read out loud before we start. One is that I was typing so fast that I mistyped. And it was, how she know a fox smell like? With an N in it. How'd she know what fox smell like?
How'd she know?
How'd she know? And then the other one was, the cats are making a splint. Let's go! I think they've done that before, but this one is just so intensely, like, it feels like you are, you know, they're gonna put her on a stretcher.
Yeah, for real.
The way that they deal with it. I love the Cinderpaw stuff in this book so much.
Mm-hmm. I love the dream that J-Paw walks into. It's so good. She's like, oh yeah, I used to live here. And he's like, excuse me?
It's so good. And the way that he's talking to her and it's like suddenly her voice sounded like deeper and sadder, like she is, you know. Oh, the echoes of Cinderpelt through Cinderpaw and the way we get to see it here in, like, this dream world is so affecting for me. I love it. This stuff, and there's coming down the pipeline at some point, there's going to be some more stuff, like, in this vein with Cinderpaw and Cinderpelt and stuff that, like, really hits me, and I'm so excited to go over and read it again, and it's good.
The way that in that dream, she's like, oh yeah, this is where, you know, Yellowfang and I would sort the herbs. And J-Paw's like, Yellowfang's dead. And she's like, I know that. Like, fucking duh, idiot.
It's so good. I love that they keep this dreamlike quality of, like, she speaks like she's Cinderpelt, but she doesn't 100% like know that she's Cinderpelt, even in the dream. She's like, I did used to live here a long time ago. When I was different, or like something along those lines. But it's never explicitly like, oh yeah, I was Cinderpelt and now I'm Cinderpaw. It's a lot more like malleable and a lot more overlapping, which I think is what makes it so effective.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think that's maybe one of my favorite scenes of the whole book.
Yeah, definitely. That and the fallen leaves stuff are huge highlights for me.
Definitely.
Brief moment to... I wrote Brabbleclaw.
Brabble.
Brief moment to talk about Brabbleclaw's Fail King fears. I don't even remember the scene specifically, but I know there was a scene where Brambleclaw was... Oh, he was talking to Lionpaw at some point, and he was... First of all, I really liked the detail that he definitely recognized that Lionpaw was doing a Tiger Star move, and he, like, kept it to himself, but he was like, where did you learn that? And Lionpaw's I thought it up myself. And he's like,
Oh, and I love the moment where Brambleclaw is, like, almost to himself just says, I think somebody in the clan is trying to kill me. And Lionpaw's like, what?
Hello?
Dad? Sorry? And he's like, don't worry about it. I'm just being paranoid. And it's like, sir.
Brambleclaw is in a different show. Brambleclaw is having his own, like, existential crisis show on the side.
Well, and because we saw at the end of the last one where he's like, he knows somebody is like, he's trying to suss out who the traitor is. He's playing Among Us over here.
He's in a locked room murder mystery and playing Among Us.
Brambleclaw over here is playing Among Us, and everyone else, like, is not playing it at all.
Brambleclaw, like, who saw who vent?
I saw him vent. Oh my god. Yeah, I really loved how he's like, he knows what Lionpaw is doing, but like, as someone who also went through that, he knows, like, confronting it is not going to get him the result he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And if he says, like, don't do that, you know,
right,
he's going to keep doing that.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And I love that it is sort of tinged with this, like, shame. I think there's shame there with Brambleclaw or regret.
For sure.
And that's the Fail King Brambleclaw moment where he's like, we're not seeing it as explicitly as we saw it like in the After Sunset short story about him, but we are seeing the doubt that is permeating him. And I am eating up those moments. I think that those are so interesting. And the first read through of this arc, I don't think I was really picking up on like how sad Brambleclaw is.
He's so sad. And he doesn't even know that these aren't his kids.
Oh my god, he does. He loves them so much. He is always like touching their head with his nose and running his tail along their sides and like showing all of these really gentle, like paternal pieces of affection. Devastating.
Yeah.
Devastating. Also, imagine being Brambleclaw and you think that these are your kids. And then you find out that they're Crowfeather's kids, and you're like, that fucking brat that went with us, you like he knows like a Crowfeather is now like a full adult, of course, but I'm just like, imagine if
it's
like
the worst person you knew from high school.
you found out that the fucking guy that was a year under you and just like the worst in high school and like was so annoying and made your day so much worse every time he was there, found out you were raising his kids.
Yeah.
Oh, though I really do I really like the Crowfeather moments that we got. Like, we talked about it a lot with the Leafpool and but like this era of Crowfeather really, like, I'm so into like messy ex, kind of confused, sad, but trying to move on Crowfeather. I really like this Crowfeather stuff. In other news, I think J-Paw should have been able to bring the stick to camp.
I agree.
I think that it's an unnecessary plot contrivance that he always has to go out to the lake to be with the stick.
I agree. I would like to talk about the stick.
Talk to me about the stick.
I deeply remember being in the Warriors fandom. What year did this book come out?
Late 2007, December, like late December 2007, so just about 2008.
2007, 2008. I remember the days when everyone was shipping J-Paw and the stick. And, you know, we were at first like, haha, funny joke. And now coming back to it, I'm like, this boy is literally acting like his brother is acting about his crush.
This is what I wrote down, this exact
stick.
Same note. I was like, he is reacting to the stick in exactly the same way that any other cat in the series reacts to having a crush. He is acting with the stick.
Yeah, he's obsessed with it. He's like, I have to make sure the stick is safe. He jumps into the lake to get the stick. He's like constantly like rubbing his paws all over the stick. Like, my guy.
My dude.
And then we'll get more of the stick later, but like, it really is just so unhinged the way he is like immediately and absolutely obsessed with it. And honestly, I think if he told Leafpool like, hey, I think this stick has something to do with our ancestors, and it just like, it's his emotional support stick, let's be honest.
It's his emotional support stick.
I feel like he could have convinced her to let him take it back. Like, he could have just been like, hey, Leafpool, look, I think this is important. I think this is like from our ancestors and they want me to have it. I think she would have been down with that.
Instead, he just kept saying, what about the stick?
And she's like, boy, it's a stick.
It's a stick, man. I don't know. We've got people sick in camp. You come help me carry these leaves. We're doing a job.
We're busy. But yeah, it is wild, the behavior that he exhibits with the stick.
It really is so much.
It's so much.
It's so much.
Isn't that little freak?
Ugh.
Let's talk about Lionpaw and Heatherpaw, actually.
Yeah.
I wish there was more development for them, because I think it could have been really, I feel like it could have really been like more of a thing that the three could have like fallen out over. Not like fallen out, but like a thing that they could have like had some drama within the three siblings about. And like the line about like, when we get to StarClan, we can be together. There'll be no borders between us there. That's some fucking Romeo and Juliet bullshit. Yeah, and I love it so much.
That line goes fucking hard.
Why does it go so hard for like one of the blandest forbidden romances in this series?
It's so just like,
but you know, it is really a childhood crush, because it is very much,
it is.
He's like, she's really pretty and I want to hang out with her. Like, he didn't originally want to hang out with her for any like deeper reasons. Not saying that like you can't develop a crush because someone's pretty and then like get to know them and things deepen, but like he very explicitly was like, wow, she's really pretty and I want to hang out with her.
And the thing I think that really hurts it is that instead of ever showing us in the text why it is that they so enjoy spending time together and like what their connection really is, we just keep being told how much Lionpaw wants to hang out with Heatherpaw, and like we don't go any deeper than that. Yeah. And so we never get like Lionpaw thinking about like, you know, when I'm with Heatherpaw, you know, I just feel like I'm, you know, there's just like, you know, it feels right to be with her, or like in this situation, she would have known what to say. Like if she had been here talking with Hollypaw with me, like she would have known what to say. I wouldn't know what to say, but she would know, you know, like just even something like that, where it's just like some interiority with Lionpaw about why he likes Heatherpaw would go a long way. Don't even get me started on how we get nothing from Heatherpaw at all. Like not even that we don't get any like POV from her. Like I'm fine with not getting POV from her. You can have a character that has a seeming interiority without them being a POV character. You can have a character that seems to think. She doesn't really ever seem to think. She just sort of says a couple of things. That's about it. Like the stuff right at the end where she sort of covers up that they were in the tunnels and that the tunnels exist is the most interesting moment from her to me. And that's just too little too late. Yeah, I guess there's kind of like an implication that she's sort of sneaky, but like what?
Yeah, I don't really know.
It doesn't do anything for me. And it's too bad because I think she's really, I'm like Lionpaw. I think she's really pretty. I remember being a child.
Yeah, no, she is really pretty.
I remember being a child and being like, her eyes are blue like Heather. That's so
pretty.
Bro, yeah, that's the coolest cat in the book. You know, like being a child, I was very much like aesthetics, and I was like, her eyes are a special color. I'm ride or die.
I mean, that's me as a 30-year-old adult. I'm not kidding.
Sometimes you just gotta be ride or die for the special eye color.
Literally, one of my friends recommended me a manga series, and they were like, hey, one of these characters has special eyes. I'm like, God damn it. And of course he was my favorite, you know?
They got your ass.
They always get my ass. I'm sorry that I have very specific tastes.
I'm sorry about my ass. It's so gettable.
I have to say, once again, I am realizing many things about why I liked Hollypaw so much. Hollypaw's got bi energy.
Yeah, she does have bi energy.
She, like, I know like certain things about cats she ends up having relationships with in the future, but like I also get like the biggest like having a crush on Willowpaw and having a crush on Cinderpaw vibes from her.
Oh yeah.
She is just like, they're gal pals.
They're gal pals. It very much feels like the experience has been described to me in media and from friends of like being a child and you don't know that you are queer and you're like, this girl is my best friend. She's so pretty and perfect and nice and I love spending time with her and I never want to do anything else except spend time with her.
Yep. I may relate a lot to Hollypaw. Who can say? But yes,
that's so valid.
Yeah. So yeah, I really enjoyed. Like she definitely gives that energy. You are exactly correct. Of like, oh, I just really like hanging out with Willowpaw. Like, okay, you literally got kidnapped by River Clan because you wanted to like make sure she was okay. Sure.
They really were like child spy? Child spy?
I mean, look.
Listen, kind of child spy. The thing is, they're not wrong. Kind of child spy.
That's all I had to say on Holly Paw. I just really like her. This is a Holly Paw stan account.
Holly Paw, good. My last note really that I had here was Tigerstar and Hawkfrost did not come here to make friends. That shit was so funny in the last couple of pages where they're like, you will understand that you have made the right choice. No attachments. Like they're being
oh my god, they're like they literally said friends are worthless.
Friends are worthless.
And I'm like, okay, edgelords.
Truly. I hate love and friendship and luck and joy.
Happiness.
I hate being happy.
All I care about is blood and death.
Just blood and death,
fucking
man.
edgelords.
So fucking hard. I'm so hardcore. I'm just thinking about death and power and blood and fighting.
Blood all the time.
All the time is all I think about. I wake up every day, rise and grind, fighting, blood, death, metal, power, manipulation, mansplain.
Yeah.
That's the vibe. They have very, what Disney creature is it that does this? Is it the eels? Little Mermaid? Where they like go and talk to Ariel and they're sort of like one on each side of her and they're like, you could go to the sea witch. That's kind of the vibe that they give me here with Lion Paw. Like, Lion Paw. They're two devils on each of his shoulders.
They really are. They're like, we fucked up with J-Paw. We gotta go for the next one.
It's the next best one. Do you think that they know that they aren't related?
They don't.
Because they say we're kin. But do you think that's real or do you think that's manipulation?
I think that's real. Because I think one of the StarClan cats said that the Dark Forest cats can't see everything.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm interested to see if that comes into play at all. Because with how deeply intense about bloodlines and being clan-born and clan purity Tigerstar is. I don't remember if that really comes up a lot in, what happens with J-Paw getting trained and everything, but I'm interested to see if they remember that that's a trait that he has.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's also part of why, like, I don't think it's a manipulation tactic. Like, I think they genuinely do think.
Right, because I suppose because
otherwise he wouldn't even bother.
Just wouldn't, they wouldn't be bothering with them. Yeah, agreed. I think all that, I love mess.
I love mess.
That's all I've got. You got anything else to bring up about the book itself before I go?
No, take us to the Erin Corner.
All right, I'm rolling on over. This was one of Kate's favorites to write. I feel like she says this every time. I feel like almost every time I come to this, I'm like, this was one of Kate's favorite books to write or read. She just got a lot of favorites, That's that's fair.
Fair.
Sometimes I look at something that I made, like I do a lot of art. Sometimes I look at art and I'm like, this is my favorite art that I've done. And then I look at another one, maybe this one's my favorite one that I've done. Maybe it's this one. Sometimes
literally me every time I post a new fic, I'm like, wow, I cooked so hard with this.
I fucking
It's like, wow,
dude.
This is the best thing I've ever written. And then like 3 months later, I post something else. I'm like, wow, this is the best thing I've ever written.
Hey, you're always improving, always doing
Which is,
new things that are the best thing.
That's such a better attitude than I had when I was a kid.
It's so much better.
And I was creating...
This is for all of my people who create things out there. All of my artists, all of my writers. Right. Also, writing is a type of artist, but I just always say like all my creative people out there. Don't put your stuff down. It's not going to help you, and it's not going to make other people feel better either. Because nobody likes to hear you say that you don't like something that you did.
Exactly. Well, and like,
unless it's like there's a point where it's like, could you give me feedback on this, or like this didn't quite come out the way that I wanted it to, but I still, like XYZ element of it. It's really compliment sandwich yourself even if you're going to be critical of yourself. I think that's really important.
Exactly. Well, and like, back when I was younger, I would get like so in my head about it because I was constantly like, oh, I'm not that good, blah, blah, blah. And so I wouldn't even like go back and read my own stuff because I was like, oh, that's so cringe. And then I, now at 30, I'm like, fuck yeah, I wrote this shit for me. Like, I'm going back and rereading it and being like, hot damn, who the fuck wrote this? Oh, it was me? Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
And you know what? I know exactly what I want. So I am the fan being service.
Yes,
so
you are. You
exactly.
are the fan.
But no, and I know it takes a long time. Like I had a 10-year period of like absolutely hating everything that I created.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like creators out there, like it will be tough. But like
we're not giving, it's not a moral judgment that like if you hate on your own art, if you talk down your own art, you're like a bad person or a bad artist. That is not what we're getting at either.
Yeah, we're just saying make an attempt. Try and like find the things you do like about your art or whatever it is you create. And when you take a moment, be like, okay, yeah, I do like that I did this. Or, make something that's not for anyone else to see except yourself.
Just make it for you, baby.
Just see how things go.
That one's just for you.
Sorry, continue.
No, all good. I want to encourage that behavior. It's good to make things. In a world that's trying constantly to get you not to make things, keep making things, gamers.
I agree. 100%.
Back to Erin Corner, Kate did say this is also one of the most difficult books to find a title for. I think Dark River is pretty good, though admittedly, like, the river doesn't necessarily play into it that much. It's more about the tunnels, but like, Dark Tunnel isn't as good as Dark River. Dark River sounds better.
Yeah.
I'm also going to I'll bring this up here. It's a little bit easier to point it out than like when we're having the discussion about the content of the book, but in the scene where Cinderpaw has her accident, falls out of the tree, before she falls out of the tree in the chapter when she like falls out of the tree at the end of the chapter, Spiderleg is there. In the next chapter, Ashfur is there and Spiderleg isn't there. He just swapped him. It's not like a huge thing, but stuff like that just does take me out of the reading and is just another thing where I'm like, they need like the equivalent of a script supervisor for these books. I was watching something yesterday that talked about a script supervisor for a film using puppets and how she had to keep track of like what puppet was where and like where they were looking and all this stuff, and would like sit next to the director and just note all that stuff down on the script. I feel like sometimes they need that kind of thing for this.
Yeah, especially because Heavy Step appears in the allegiances through this entire arc, even though he died in Sunset.
He was mentioned. They said a thick-set Tabby Tom Elder. He was there. That's him.
I know.
I was like, that's my guy. That's Mr. Heavy Step. Back from the dead.
I love that shit.
It's so funny every time. We did get an email just earlier today from a listener who sent us some additional words from Vicky on Leafpool's Wish. Unfortunately, I did not get a chance to really go over them and like highlight things that I want to talk about before we recorded today, but I wanted to mention it here. And I think there will be a great moment like later on in this arc that will be a good time to sort of circle back to Leafpool's Wish stuff and like touch on some of the stuff Vicky said about writing that novella and like her favorite parts of it and stuff. So thank you so much to the listener who sent that in and put it in front of our eyes. I'm always struggling to, get as much information as I would like about all of this stuff, like behind the scenes stuff. So really appreciate getting that sent in, putting in front of me. Thank you so much. Aside from that, I was looking on the wiki and I found the wiki page for J Feather's Stick. I took this screenshot that was cracking me up so hard that I'm going to read it out loud. J Feather's Stick. This article is about J Feather's Stick. You may be looking for either Stick the Cat or The Stick of the Fallen from Bramblestar's Storm. Under that, there's another bubble that says, although this article is based on canonical information, the title of this subject is conjecture.
Oh my god.
J Feather's Stick, the name, conjecture.
Oh my lord.
Oh, it was making me laugh so hard. And also it's got the picture of Greywing that we have as an emoji in our Discord too.
Yeah, I fucking love that image.
It's good. Speaking of J Feather's Stick, according to the wiki, Kate at one point did say that she loves J and Stick the ship, that people do that, and that
hell yeah,
she adores the fan's sense of humor. I love that she's like, hell yeah, I'm on board for this. You fucking guys and you J and the Stick.
I love that.
It's so good. Oh, I have another thematic writing thing here, which is another thing that Kate said is that she likes writing from J Feather's POV because he doesn't leave camp that much. And she thinks it's hard to write cats getting from point A to point B. She doesn't particularly like writing cats going places. And like, I don't feel that
so
way.
Real for that.
I don't feel that way specifically about like characters moving A to B, but this is like so real to have that thing that is really annoying or difficult to write and you just try and avoid it at all costs. I get it.
I mean, I also hate trying to like write transitional moments.
Oh, yeah. Transitional moments are a lot. Blocking is hard.
It's the worst. Where I'm like, I'm like this scene and then this scene, and I'm like, do I have to write something that like connects them? Can I not just skip to the next scene? And when I'm writing fanfic, I usually just skip to the next scene because who the fuck cares?
We love those three little dots in them, those three little asterisks in the middle of the page. I learned what those were called recently, and it's a really funny name. It's called the dinkus.
What?
When you see in a book 3 asterisks that that separate one scene from another scene, like do the sort of page break, that's called a dinkus.
I love that.
It makes me so happy that it's called a dinkus. That's it for the Erin Corner. Why don't you take us to sharing tongues?
Hell yeah. So I went on Tumblr. I was actually able to like find some stuff on Tumblr for this. A lot of folks doing some live blogging as they read. Somebody mentioning, because this was such a funny little moment. At the gathering, Shadow Clan is like, Tawny Pelt had 3 kits, and they are like, so-and-so, so-and-so, and Tiger Kit, and everyone's cheering, and then as soon as they hear that she named her child Tiger Kit, everyone just goes fucking silent.
I know! It's so much! That is a wild choice to make.
Well, somebody on Tumblr was like, Tawny Pelt has so many daddy issues, and you know what? I think that's true. Mm-hmm. Because, like, yeah, she left to go be with her father, and then her father turned out to be a piece of shit, but she was like, no, I think I'm gonna stay here.
Yeah.
Like, okay, girl.
So true.
We've got some really cool, like, sort of anthro art.
Yeah, I love these. They feel very, like little, medieval.
We've got Fallen Leaves, Night Cloud, Holly Leaf, and Feathertail. And they just look really cool. I really like the cloaks. Mm-hmm. Looks very, like, adventure-y.
Yeah, they do look like they're going on a D&D-ass adventure.
I love how it. Feathertail is in this, like, really, like, poofy, flouncy thing. It just feels right.
I really like the, like, water style hem, too. Like, the hemline looks so like good. Waves. So good.
Some fan art of Fallen Leaves and Rock in the tunnels. And then this lovely little portrait of little headshot of Fallen Leaves with some leaves like kind of surrounding him.
Some falling leaves.
I love him so much.
I love him. Now you understand why I put him on the cover art.
Yeah. I also, like, saw a couple folks talking about Holly Paw and, like, really enjoying how she's, like, very, like, wants to uphold the code, but questions it. And I'm like, she's that kid in the, like, Bible study church group who, like, earnestly wants an answer to those hard questions.
Yeah.
Like, she wants an answer. She wants to believe, but everybody's like, ooh, asking those questions would cause too many problems. And so they're just like, we will not talk about that. Uh-huh. And that is like 100% what I feel like Holly Paw is like. Because I do think like she is very much like, yeah, the warrior code is important and we need to follow it. But there are some things that seem like they're kind of not codified or ignored or things that would be like, make it difficult to follow. Mm-hmm. And everyone's like, don't worry about it. She's like, I don't know about that. And then somebody else who answered a question, which was favorite part of the territories. And they mentioned the tunnels, and they called it an eldritch location.
It's so true.
Because it is dangerous, dark, cold enough to nearly kill a child, always at risk of flooding, somehow connected to the lake. Take all that spookiness aside, and remember, the tunnels are a mass grave of drowning victims. Fallen Leaves was not the first.
It's so true.
Yeah, it's like, that is a haunted ass place.
That place is fucking haunted.
And I was really like, yeah, it is very much like, it's such a spooky place. AO3, there's 4 fics tagged for Dark River. Somebody's tag says J-Paw's stick has entered the chat.
She's here.
77 fics for Fallen Leaves. Woohoo! 28 for Heatherpaw and Lionpaw. 11 for Hollypaw and Willowpaw.
Oh, yay!
35 for Hollypaw and Cinderpaw.
Wow, they
ship.
beat Heatherpaw and Lionpaw.
I know. Love wins. And then there was one fic of Cinderpaw, Hollypaw, and Willowpaw as an OT3. I found 7 fics tagged with a romantic pairing of J-Paw and Stick. And the Ancient Stick has its own tag, which is Ancient Stick. Parentheses, warriors, and parentheses.
You think there's another ancient stick that they have to is there a reason they have to clarify it?
Well, I think you mentioned there's Stick the cat.
There is Stick the cat, but that's not an ancient stick.
Right, but they can't just say like J-Paw / Stick, because then they might be like, oh.
No, I'm sorry. I mean, do you think is there another ancient stick somewhere that is the reason that they have to clarify that it is warriors, the ancient stick from Warrior Cats?
Oh, that's a good question. Yes, now I understand what you're saying. Ancient stick. Just gonna Google it. It would appear.
It's just general ancient sticks. There's just very old sticks in the world.
Yeah, as well as whatever this online game is. I don't know what this is. I don't know. I mean, like,
this looks like
even for warriors' names, like they'll still have the parentheses warriors. Just because...
okay. I'm not an AO3 person. I don't ever go on AO3, so I don't know any of these things.
Part of it is, I think, if it is like a tag that is not like super frequently used, but is used enough in that particular fandom,
right?
It'll have the little parentheses, or if it is something that like could be related to several different fandoms, so they have to like clarify which one you're tagging.
That tracks.
I did venture onto fanfiction.net just for the heck of it to see if there was any J Featherstick fanfic still up there. There are still 4 fics up.
You're so brave. This is some of the funniest shit in my life.
Here's a couple of the summaries. J Feather is shocked to see his stick here, alive, as a real cat. But she brings with her a devastating prophecy. And then another one, the stick cheats on J Feather for a piece of bamboo. One shot. It just cracked me up. I just love this shit.
It's so funny.
It's so silly. Oh, man. But that's about all I had for sharing tongues. I just appreciate that everybody's so unserious about the stick.
It's so good. It's so loving. There's something about it that's
It's like
clearly.
It's, it feels like a lot of fandoms have like that one joke that like everybody knows almost. And J-Paw and his stick just feels like that one, like beaten to death joke that everybody still finds funny. You want to take us to our Warrior Cats of the Week?
Yeah. I have 2 Warrior Cats of the Week.
Ooh.
This is because up until like the last 3 chapters, it was for sure Cinderpaw, but Fallen Leaves like came up from behind so fast down the home stretch that I just had to say both of them. I think that Cinderpaw exploring what it's like inside of her head through J-Paw visiting her dreams was incredible. I also think that she had that really wonderful, thoughtful conversation with J-Paw about being blind that I thought was really good. There was also the moment at the beginning of the book where she went to confront Lionpaw for hanging out with Heatherpaw in the middle of the night, and she had that like very earnest comment that was like, I'm afraid he's doing something that he'll regret. That was clearly like drawing on the memories that Cinderpelt has of things like that. And
it's really, like, really hey, good. This mistake has been made before. Don't let it happen again.
Yeah, this has all happened before. But then Fallen Leaves just comes in so strong with appearing to J-Paw saying, you walked with me like a brother. I walk with you now as you did with me so long ago. Just the little bit we get about him guiding them to the kits and then sort of fading away and just his eyes being left as J-Paw spoke to him and said, like, come with us. And he says, it's not my time. I cannot leave yet. Shit's good. Shit's good.
Shit's so good.
Shit's good. That's my 2 picks. It's a 2 for this time.
My pick is the stick. No, I'm just kidding. It's Fallen Leaves. No, it's Fallen Leaves. I love that guy so much. And I just loved his interactions with J-Paw.
They were really good.
I loved, like, his moments in the prologue, his, like, the time that J-Paw sees him drowning, and just the way that he acts with J-Paw as they're, like, trying to find the kids. I just love him so much. I think he's a
It's really good.
great character. And you know what? I fucking love a ghost.
Yeah!
I just love a ghost. I just think they're neat.
I just think they're fucking neat.
And I just really enjoy, like, him as both a part of the plot and also a character. So I really enjoyed it.
I'm sending you one of my favorite AMVs, which is
hell
called
yeah.
Neglected Space. This is technically about rock, but there's a lot of really good Fallen Leaves moments too. And I think about it a lot.
That's about all I have to say about my Warrior Cat of the Week.
All right. Let us say goodbye then for today. If you have thoughts, opinions, questions, or memes to share with us, you can write to us at pawsandclawspod@gmail.com. That's paws as in what a cat has, claws as in the part of speech, pod as in podcast. We are also on Twitter and Blue Sky at Paws and Claws, and on Tumblr at Paws Clause Pod. Listeners who are 18 years and older can come join us on Discord, which will be linked below in the show notes. We are brought to you by the TWG Podcast Network, which you can find at theworstgarbage.online. And you can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, or Blue Sky at HumbleGoat, and you can see the art that I do, including our podcast cover art, at scoutwilkinson.myportfolio.com.
And you can find me on Twitter at plot_twists, on Blue Sky at plot-twists, or on Tumblr at antique-romantic. Our next episode will be out in 2 weeks, where we will discuss The Power of Three, Book 3, Outcast. Read along by buying the book from a local bookstore or checking out a copy from your local library. Until then, dear listeners, may StarClan guide your paws.
TWG, the worst garbage, online.